Howdy folks, I'm Mama B, and today we're going to try making a little bird carrier. We got these really nice little wire baskets from the Dollar Tree, and they're the Essential Basket Pannier. Anyway, so they're small enough for lovebirds. If you want to do it for a bigger bird, you probably want to do bigger. But basically, it's going to look like this. We're going to take our baskets and flip them upside down. And then I've got these jump rings, and we're going to attach them on one side, and then we're going to just try and get a latch so that we can make sure it's secure so that a little bird can be in here without being at risk of flying away or getting hurt. Okay, so we're going to start with making sure that the baskets kind of fit up to each other, and so we've done a little bit of bending here to make sure that it lines up right. And then I'm going to take my jump ring. Now this one's a really thick one, and I think it came off of a jacket or something like that, but it's really thick and it's just one that I had. And so we're going to start by opening it up and putting it on, and I figured that the thicker one will give it a little bit more security. So if you have a thicker one, I recommend that you use it. We're just going to slide it right into the middle. Again, lining it up as best as we can. Then we're just going to close that up. Once you get it kind of closed, then you'll be able to work on that and get it clamped up just how you want it. You want the jump ring to be big enough that it can still open and close. You see how easily that works? And now, just for security's sake and a little bit more stability, I'm going to put one here and here. These are a little bit looser, a little bit thinner, and so they don't have as much stability, but they will certainly help with what I'm doing. So now we've got our 3 little rings on there, and you can add more for security, but it's all about keeping your bird safe. But you can see that makes a nice little hinge. You don't want to use less than 3. Okay, when you put your stick in, you're going to want a big enough stick that it will kind of wedge into those holes so that it doesn't get all floppy and slop around. And this one's about 6 inches long, maybe a little longer. You want it to be able to fit your cage. Then what we need is a clasp. And so this is experimental, but what we're going to do is use paper clips. Now, I recommend, if you have bigger ones, use the bigger ones. This one might be too big. But we're just going to take it and untwist it. You can use any kind of wire, but you want one that's going to have a hold to it so that it's not easily just pulled out. That's why I recommend the thicker paper clip. We're just using the paper clip because we have it. You know me, I like to use what I have. Okay, and then we're going to make a little, just form it into the shape of a hook or a latch. I want that a little bit bigger. Again, keep in mind that security for your bird is the most important thing. We are rotating that wire just a little bit further than just past so that we can get that extra security. And I'm just going to put a band right there in it. We're shaping it kind of like a staple with the little curls at the ends. So it's got kind of a box loop to it. This is just a little bit tricky, but you can do it. Let me just finalize that shape so that it's nice and tight. There you have your first latch. We're going to do 2 more of those, one on either side, and that will stabilize it, and maybe a couple more jump rings on the back for the hinge, just to make sure that we're good and secure. And then let's take it for a test run. And let's put Frog in and see how it goes. There you go, Frog. Now, Frog doesn't fly. It'll take your birds a minute to get used to it. Frog doesn't fly, so he doesn't really need this cage. Stay in there, Frog. But you can see he fits nicely. You know, just latch each one of these latches down. And you can see we put in new rings. So we've got 5 rings now instead of just the 3 for security. Let's take Frog out for a walk. As you can tell, the birds like to chew at these wires. If it were a larger bird with a stronger beak, it would be able to break these wires, so you don't want to use this for a larger bird. But for little birds, this is a great idea. It's a great cage for a makeshift carry-all. Right, now I've got this wire. It's about 2 feet of just jewelry wire. You can see I've twisted it in together. I've folded it in half, and it's kind of ugly old stuff, and that don't matter because I just want it for the strength. And I'm going to put it in through here. What I'm doing is I'm creating a handle now, and I'm going to just loop it in. Hey, you Frog. Pull that through, kind of thread that through, and then I'm going to put it right back in through that loop, and that will lock that side in. And then, because this is my handle, I'm going to thread it with a few beads to make it an easier hold. So I'm just going to cover it with these beads, and then loop it back in and twist tie it on the other side. Okay, so on the other side, I've threaded that through. Now I'm just going to test it, and it stays pretty balanced. That's what you want, to be able to hold your handle without tipping your bird one way or the other, sloshing it around. And then I'm going to thread this back up through the beads and secure it again on this other side, and that'll give it a little bit more strength. All right, now I'm just tucking that sharp end in, and then there's no sharp ends that we have to worry about for the birds. I twisted it around a little bit there. Beads cover it, and there's our little handle. Well, there it is. Frog's in it. He looks very comfortable. Very happy Frog. He can see through, and you can see what's going on around him and be pretty safe. You could use this for your birds. This is, and this is really important, a temporary carrier. This is not a bird cage. This is not for your bird to live in. It's too small for a bird to live in. It's a short time carrier, not for a long, you wouldn't want to leave your bird in this for a long period of time. One of the things that happens is the little birds chew at the little plastic coating on these wires. And so you don't want to just put your bird in it and leave it there. We're outside and loving this moment. The frog looks so comfortable. This carrier is lightweight and easy to handle, and it's just a fun little activity. This carrier cost us less than $5. The nice thing about that is if it starts to get worn a little bit, your birds start chewing on that plastic and it becomes a problem, you just make another one. It's under $5 and a little bit of your time. Folks, thanks for watching our videos. Have a fantastic day.